Talk about young shakes. Chicago 2 represent. Just change. And this for my city.
Hey, I do it for my city. Dog, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gon' first round. For my city. Dog, I ain't never.
Hello, this is Lacy L Jr. of Rice Same Group, welcoming you to Chat with HBCU Champions, Season 2, Episode 5, featuring Head Coach Eric Strothers from Tougaloo College, whose men's basketball team won the Gulf Coast Athletic Conference Championship this year. Congratulations and welcome to the show, Coach.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Please tell us about yourself, including your coaching experience.
Okay, I'm from a small lit town in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and went to Vicksburg High, and on from there I went to Jackson State, where I played at Jackson State 4 years between 87 and 91. Then I came back and coached at Jackson State from 1993 to 2013. And then I went to Mississippi Valley for 5 years from 2013 to 2018. And then I came to Tougaloo College in 2018. I was assistant for 3 years under Coach Billups. And this is my first year taking over the head coaching job at Tougaloo.
Okay. All right. Well, that's quite an accomplishment, winning a conference championship right out the gate.
Oh yeah, it was big. Just following Coach Billups. That's really he set his own. He set the bar high for me. So just coming behind a legend like him, it was pretty tough.
Okay. All right. Well, please tell us a bit about your team. Who were your key athletes and what were some of their accomplishments this year?
Well, of course, we had the two-time player of the conference, Cam Copeland. He just was a good player, good all-around player, good leader. He did a lot of things that help us put ourselves in, give us a good chance to win every game because he could really handle the ball, strong dribbler, good passer, and he could make shots. So you got to take your hats off to a guy like that. And then we had a big guy inside named Daryl Jones that really you threw the ball in there, he could get a bucket. Really skillful guy. And then we had Camden Woodall, that was an athletic guy that can run, jump, catch the ball. He's done a lot of things for us. And then you had Trajan Fielder that can really just light it up from the outside. He can make a shot anywhere. Then you had Antoine Bean that was like a general on the floor. So I had a lot of pieces. If I was playing chess, I had a good chessboard.
Okay. All right. Well, what can you tell us about your conference and the competition that you faced this year?
Well, our conference was extremely tough this year. We played in power play that made it even tougher. You got some really. We had a lot of first year coaches in our conference. The coach from Wiley is a very good coach, and he's gonna get some really good players in there. And then you got the coach from Dillard that's a really good coach. Is gonna really get some really good players, and that was his first year too. So you talk about those teams, and you talk about Todd Deck team that was really, really good this year. And you're talking about our conference. The GCAC was really tough, and people didn't give us a lot of respect this year. But as you could tell, as we played in a tournament, we played in NAIA. We was beating teams double figures, but in our own tournament, we was barely getting through. We was barely getting from game to game. So we had a very good conference this year. I know people didn't think so, but they was very, very good and well coached.
Okay. Well, I know that NAIA over the past few years, I think since the pandemic, has gone to a different format than what they had done in the past. And I know in the past for the national tournament, pretty much the conference champions and the at-large bids would all just gather in Kansas City and play the tournament. But now it's a bit different with you actually having to play regional games. Can you tell us a bit about that and that experience?
Yeah, I kind of like that setup. I never experienced the first setup because I got here during the pandemic and we didn't go to the tournament. We was seated, I think, fourth. We didn't get a chance to go because of the pandemic. I was looking forward to it because heard a lot of coaches say how difficult it is. You got to win 5 games in 6 days and something like that. So it's real difficult doing that. But I like the kind of setup because it's set up like the NC2A, where you go to a region and you play 2 games, you win that region, you move on to the Sweet 16, and then after that you move on into the Elite Eight, and then to the Final Four. So I really like that setup because it gives you a chance to prepare for each team, and I think it's a really nice setup, and I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and I tell you,
Uh-huh.
and then I'm just going to say this: our pod play this year, well, we went pod play this year. We played Thursday, we played Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Really got us prepared for the NAI tournament this year.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I've been to the NAIA National Championship a few times, and they used to pride themselves on having the toughest tournament in college basketball because of what you said. You know, you had to win so many games, and pretty much just a few days in order to win the tournament, and so it seems that things are more probably advantageous for the teams now with the probably the athletes getting more rest and being able to recruit more as they go along. Is that the case?
Yeah, if that's the case. You get some rest days in between your games, and that helps the team, get ready for the next team. But back then, I didn't know that you play back to back. You just keep playing till you lose. So that had to be pretty tough. That's a pretty tough tournament.
Uh, well, tell us a bit more about your postseason.
Well, the postseason was really interesting this year. We played a team out of the Red River Conference. Was our first team. I think it was Texarkana, uh, and they was pretty good. And then we came back and played Sagu out of Dallas. That was really really good. And we was able to win that region up in La Ola, which they was the favorites there in their tournament because they was hosting the tournament. Um, and then we got the chance to play a team out of Florida that was really, really good. And got a lot of experience. They had a big guy. They had some really good guards. And then, of course, we got beat by the national champs, College of Idaho. That was really, really good. They got everybody coming back next year. So I'm out here beating the bush trying to recruit for the College of Idaho right now.
Yeah, I was told that they had a young team, and I guess the program might be young, or it's not a program that many people familiar with the NAIA would associate with championship. So that
Right.
was a great accomplishment for them.
Yeah. Really
So
good for them.
yeah. Uh, well, what honors did you receive this year?
Well, I got coach of the year this year, and it was a really great honor. I mean, you talk about all the good coaches in my league, man. I, that was very exciting for me to get that honor. I tell you, boy, it was some really great coaches, man. I felt really good to get the coach of the year at the GCAC this year.
Okay, well, congratulations on that award.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Uh, what do you look for in prospects?
And prospects.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, well, when I go out and recruit, I always look for my first thing when I look for kids, and um, Tougaloo is an academic school, so you got to have your academics together to get into Tougaloo. And after I look at the academic part of it, I kind of look at the character, and I look for the character of the prospect. Then after that, I look for the talent. Do he have talent enough to play for me? Can he maintain his academic purpose at Tougaloo, and can he get some growth and development here under me? So those are a few things that I look for, and I definitely look for the can he grow and can he develop under my tutelage.
Okay. Well, please tell us more. You did mention that Tougaloo is an academic institution. Please tell us more about the institution. What are some of the major programs there, and what majors do your athletes usually take?
Well, my kids was pretty. They kind of communication, biology, science, computer science, and all Tougaloo offered so many different majors and opportunity to young kids here at Tougaloo. So we're gonna have I had what 6 seniors, 7 seniors, and I think three gonna graduate in the spring, and then I got four gonna graduate in the fall. So they did a really good job academically for me too, as playing and on the classroom too. So we got a lot of different majors, and we get kids from all over, all different areas. So they did a really good job this year, and I'm very proud of them.
Okay. Yeah, I do know a few Tougaloo alumni or alumni actually, and it was actually one of my former athletes graduated from Tougaloo. She didn't compete while she was there, but she did very well in the classroom and speaks very highly of her alma mater. And that's one of the things I've noticed about graduates that all of them uh, uh, they just have a certain air about themselves.
Oh yeah,
So
they take a lot of pride. They take a lot of pride in their academics here, and they call the Eagle Queen. Can you hear me? I think I lost you for a second.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
I think it's this spectrum. It might be my spectrum internet down. It's not
okay,
necessarily the best.
okay.
So, but you were talking about the pride of the Tougaloo graduates.
Oh yeah, they take a lot of pride in their academics here on Tougaloo, and they call it the education part is the Eagle Queen. So the Eagle Queen is the education part of it, and then you got the Bulldog, which is the sports part of it.
Okay, okay.
Mhm, mhm.
I did not know that. I
Oh
definitely
yeah.
didn't know that. Yeah. Uh, well, what kind of support do you receive for your program from the department, the institution, and from your fans?
Well, I just want to talk about the fans first, man. The fans is unbelievable. We have unbelievable fans. They come to the game, and man, they get behind us, and they very professional here at Tougaloo, and I just love the fans. They give us a lot of support. And then you talk about our department. You know, we have great department support from our department and from our president, Carolyn Walters. She's always say academics and then athletics. She used the two A's and everything she talked about. So we get a lot of support here. So I'm happy with the support and camaraderie with the fans and the supporting staff.
Okay. Well, since Tougaloo does not have a football program, I'm assuming that men's basketball is the major program there at the institute.
Yes, we basketball is one of the major programs, but we got baseball is pretty good, and we got women's basketball, and you got volleyball, and you got soccer. We have soccer here, so they are up and coming sports, and I love to watch all of them.
Okay. Well, I know soccer. That's not necessarily a sport that many of our HBCUs have. So, hats off to Tougaloo for going that route.
Yeah, we're gonna come with football next. We come with football next.
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I might have to plan a trip down there to watch the team during the first year when that happens.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Uh, well, who are the biggest influences in your career?
Well, the number one influence is my father, Percy Struthers, was the biggest influence in my career. He brought me up. He was an older guy. He talked about the civil rights movement. He talked about what he had to do to get to where he was at. It was really tough back then, and he came in. He was born in 1925, so you know he came through when you couldn't, it was civil rights. It was black, white. So, and he taught me a lot, and he told me a lot, to be back in those days, it was pretty tough, man. And he was a tough father. He was tough on me, and he inspired me to do what I'm doing now. And then I talk about my former coach, my college coaches, Andy Stoglin. Andy Stoglin was assistant coach with Nolan Richardson, and then he was at Tulsa. Then he was at Arkansas with Nolan, and then Sylvester Anderson, which was another one of the guys that I worked under. He was at Jackson State, but he was at Georgia and he was at Auburn, and he was the head coach at Murray State. So then Andre Payne, I worked on Andre Payne at Mississippi Valley. He was the head coach, and he brought another flair to what I need to see. Because every head coach you under has something different to offer to you. So I just took every head coach I was under and some of the assistant coaches that worked with me. And I took all that and I put it together and I put my little touch onto it, and they made me what I am today in the coaching field, and what I do to get today with young guys. And then I tell everybody that I talk to, it's not all about basketball. It's about these kids going to college, getting an education, and then going out into the community and being successful. And that's what I pride myself on. And I just see all the guys that I coached when I was assistant coaching, they now lawyers, doctors, and they out there being successful in the community. And I really love that.
Okay. Okay. Well, I know HBCUs are receiving a lot more exposure these days. Um, However, to me, it seems like most of it is going to the NCAA side, whereas let's say the NAIA, the USCAA, and the NCCAA schools are not getting as many looks from the mainstream as they probably should, because honestly, I bet most people in America do not realize that most national basketball championships for H, for HBCUs occurred in the NAIA. And so in fact two of the three programs that ever three-peated in men's basketball were HBCUs: Tennessee A&I, now Tennessee State, and Kentucky State University, or Kentucky State College, until that last year. And so what do you think can be done to give the smaller colleges and universities more exposure?
Well, I know one thing that could. I mean, you talk about the social media platform. Um, I think we need more media platforms like what you're doing now, and other people to get more involved and give us more media coverage. And I think that would help a lot because we got a great product here. I mean, I just see, the teams that we played and the conference we in and the things that we are doing for HBCUs. We have a great product and we need to get that product out. And I think we need to do more social media and have more media platforms like what you're doing. And I think that'll help us out a lot.
Okay. Well, I said I know the NCAA was able to capitalize on Coach Prime going to Jackson State, and I know that helped those schools a lot. However, one thing that gets overlooked is that he actually got his degree at Talladega, which is in AIA. And so, maybe hopefully somebody could probably put a bug in his ear to start mentioning Talladega more often, or you know, because I have seen interviews where he did mention Talladega, and
Right.
that you know he talked about. I think he talked about them not having a football program there either, and about resources, but somehow all of you small colleges, whether you're HBCUs or PWIs, are still able to make things work. So my hat goes off to you guys.
Yeah. And a lot of people that know Dion got his degree from Talladega. And actually, I think he got his degree right before he went to Jackson State too. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know that. I knew that because I knew people down there that knew that he got his degree from down there. So a lot of people don't know that.
Right. And I knew that
Mhm.
just from being in the HBCU world and you know reading up, researching and things like that. So, like I said, hopefully at some point, the smaller schools can take advantage. And you're right, you know, having more platforms and giving guys like Tougaloo and some of the other schools. Because let's say it, I actually had to educate some people who were covering HBCU because they were only giving credit to certain schools. And I tell them, hey, you have a couple of HBCU conferences in the NAIA. And you know, one of the things that I have to actually get on myself about is the fact that you had an HBCU last year that won a national championship in the USCAA, and so look, and actually the other funny thing is the newest HBCU by classification got third place on in women's basketball in the NCCAA this year. But you know, like I said there's not enough people who know
They
that.
don't understand about the resources that we don't have and the money that we don't have. It's really tough. And I tell it's tough getting to the national tournament and even winning the game because you got these other schools and you know what I'm talking about. They got the money, they got the resources to get shit. They can get whatever they want, just like some of these Power Five schools. They got resources, and we just don't have the type of resources to get us there. But we had a hell of a season with the resources that we was provided. So I tell everybody, I just take my hat off to my staff, and I take my hat off to my players. I mean, we really went through some things to get to what we got to, and you talking about that's big into the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm. And you're how close is talent? I'm
I
sorry,
can't hear you.
Tougaloo. Oh, how about now?
I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, all right. How close is Tougaloo to Jackson State? Because I know, like I said, from talking to some people, some of my friends and former athletes, that Tougaloo usually participates, I guess, or has their fall homecoming with Jackson State. So how close are those two schools?
I'm having a little problem issue with hearing you. Is not the mic is not up loud enough. I guess I can't hear you anymore.
Okay. Um, can you hear me?
I can hear you a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay. So what I was saying was, or what I was asking was, how close is Tougaloo to Jackson State?
Okay, it's about 10 minutes away from Jackson State. So it's about 10 minutes away.
Okay. So Coach Prime mentioned in his 60-minute interview about the issue with the water down in Jackson, Mississippi, and how that affected the program. Was that something that you experienced as well?
No, we didn't actually. Tougaloo is not. It's on the outskirts of Jackson, so we wasn't affected by the water problem. So we was good. Actually, we was giving water out. They was bringing water here, and we was supplying the city of Jackson with water. So we was out doing our community service at the time. So, but I was affected because I stay in the city of Jackson. I was affected by the water. So, but I was able to get through it.
Okay, okay. Well, Coach, um, I do have a question on one major issue that seems to permeate throughout athletics these days. How do you deal with the mental health of your athletes?
But that's a really good question, and people just don't understand that question right there. The mental state of athletes pretty tough. They got a pretty rigorous schedule, with class, and some of them have jobs, and then we have to practice and things like that. What we do, we try to do FCA as much as we can. We have FCA on Fridays. We have convocations on Wednesdays. So I make that I really tell them to come to that, and then if they're having a problem, we have mental health people that they can talk to on campus that can advise them. And then as coaches, we try to help out as much as possible, because we never know what's going on with our athletes from day to day basis, because every day is a different problem. Then you got to come up with a different solution.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that I think recently this year, I believe there were a couple of suicides among cheerleaders at other institutions. So, and I know about some other suicide attempts and unfortunately actual suicides at other HBCU. So that's a question I definitely have to ask coaches about how they deal with that, because that's tough on everyone, not only on the team but also on the institution.
Yeah. Well, what I try to do every day, and I do this before the game and after the game, we try to pray. We pray a lot here at Tougaloo, and we use God first, and then we say God first, middle, and last. So we really do a lot of praying here at Tougaloo. So and our guys, they took it on. They took it on, and we was able to get through this year. But we had some issues, and we was able to get through them. So and sometimes you just got to ask God to help. So that's what we do.
Okay, well that's the best thing to do. Leave it in His hands.
That's right.
Well, Coach, as we get ready to come to a close, please give shout outs to anyone who you want to recognize.
Okay. I just want to take time to recognize our commissioner of our conference of the GCHC, Ms. Barnes, Kiki Barnes. I think she's done an outstanding job running this conference this year and just getting everybody together. I take my hat off to her and her staff. I think they've done a really, really good job. And then I want to take my hat off to I just want to recognize my assistant coaches, Coach Billups, that done an outstanding job, and Coach Neal, Coach Stevenson, and my strength and conditioning coach, Coach Odoms. They done a really, really good job. And then I just want to just recognize my players that came every day. Anytime you can go 32-2, the focus of my players, my staff. And then I just want to and at the end, I just want to thank the fans at Tougaloo. I want to thank Tougaloo Nation. They came out and really supported me this year, and I hope I can get the same support for next year. So I always say, go Bulldogs.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Strothers, for participating in this chat. We hope that you and your program continue to succeed, and we will follow your development. And I want to thank you, the viewers, for watching this episode of Chat with HBCU Champions. Please visit ricefamegroup.org for more information on replays and more HBCU information. Have a blessed week.
Yeah. Now I'm talking about young shakes. Chicago 2 representatives. Just James. And this is for my city.
Hey, I do it for my city. I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city, I ain't never been a chump. And if he thinking I'm a chump, watch him get his head lumped. For my city, I don't plan on going down. If he think I'm going down, then he gone first round. For my city, I ain't never been a chump. And if he thinking I'm a chump, watch him get his head lumped. For my city, cause I feel like I love her so much, like I owe her so much for supplying her touch. I will always respect her, I will never neglect her. Bet you hear her name in like every one of my records. No, I'm not studying. stunting, ain't no future in your frontin', right? Gotta get this money, watch me get it all night. Planet flying, top flight, higher than space stations. That's why I gotta grind, cause I need it and I hate waiting.